There were a couple of key points in the EIA's forecast. Crude production is expected to rise over the next decade. Gas consumption will be less than previously estimated, and the U.S. will become a net exporter of nat gas earlier than estimated a year ago. What's your reaction to these forecasts?
Well, remembering that long-term forecasting is not only more art than science, it tends to be bad art. I think, though, that they're being a little conservative, especially on the oil side, showing a much lower increase in shale oil production than the IEA did just a few weeks ago.
Well, today we saw gas prices decline as stockpiles rose the most since 9/11. What's going on? How bearish is today's DOE report, and why are global oil prices still relatively high?
Well, they're relatively high primarily for geopolitical reasons, concern about the situation in Egypt, Libya, Syria, Iraq, and so forth. But the fundamentals are starting to be felt. The high gasoline inventory show that the refineries have a lot of capability to make more gasoline, and demand, although it's picking up, it's gone from negative to flat, which is I guess that's bullish, but not bullish enough apparently.
Well, how profitable has it been to refine crude, especially with the big increase in gas stockpiles we have seen on the Gulf Coast?
Well, it's been relatively profitable, especially in the Midwest, where the oil is kind of locked in because of lack of pipeline capacity to export it. It's been a relatively good year for refiners, but it's not clear that will continue.
Mr. Lynch, if the economy improves, energy consumption will likely increase. But what's the scenario if fiscal cliff negotiators can't reach a compromise? How will the energy sector react?
I think you'll see a pretty sharp drop because of the fear, not just that it'll hurt the U.S. economy, but the world economy is still struggling. And if the U.S. takes even a small bump down, we'll catch cold, and the rest of the world, Europe will get pneumonia, and the Chinese maybe the bad flu.
Speaking of the Chinese, second largest economy, they have new leadership. How will energy prices react if the Chinese government introduces new stimulus?
They will definitely be bullish. I think the hope is that something will happen in China, for example, that the European mess will be sorted out. China has been very important in terms of energy demand growth in the last 3 to 5 years, and this year they have not been much heard from. So if they come back, that's a big sign for the bulls.
Sir, we have about 30 seconds left. What's your expectation for the global oil market next year?
I think the market will tend to be a bit bearish because the fundamentals are going to be getting worse, but the geopolitical scene shows no sign of improving.